So before we begin today, I believe some scale is needed to really understand just how crazy this trip was. When we first got to Japan, we touched down in Tokyo. So obviously enough, this was the general area where we were staying at first. We then traveled all the way from Tokyo to Kyoto. Now understand, this is normally a ridiculously long 8-hour trip by train, though we took the Shinkansen, which meant it was only 3 hours. But once we got to Kyoto, we still went from Kyoto to Osaka and to Nara. All these places are individually pretty far from one another. And this is viewing it out from pretty far away. The reason I tell you this is because a trip like this needs to be planned meticulously ahead of schedule. Because you are so far from so many different places, going to them all can be incredibly hard to juggle. And that needs to be kept in mind because I don't have a ton of footage from a lot of these places. We were only there for a day sometimes, or less. So just be careful when you're planning the scale of your trip. While staying in Kyoto, we were staying near Fushimi Inari Taisha, which was awesome because at any time we could leave our hotel and walk right around the corner to one of the biggest tourist spots in Kyoto. But that being said, there were plenty of other places nearby for us to visit. We had already done Kiyomizu-dera, so we don't need to worry about that one. Go check out the previous vlog for that. Though today, places like Arashiyama and Kinkakuji seemed like a good idea. So with that in mind, we were going to go first to Arashiyama. This is it, Arashiyama. Beautiful, dark, desolate. Not sure if you remember from my previous vlog, but I did mention that we wound up going late at night, and it was a huge mistake. I saw some stuff on TripAdvisor that said it was really cool to go to at night, and that there were lanterns guiding the way, and that it was really pretty like a festival, but it wasn't. I heard animals scurrying about, and I got more scared than I think I've ever been of woodland creatures. Don't come here at night. Good morning, everybody, and welcome. We are in Arashiyama. As you might see by the background here, it's way too loud. Hey, so got off the train here at Arashiyama, and this place is really nice. It's a bit earlier today, so hopefully we will avoid some of the foot traffic, but yeah, so far we're surrounded by mountains and beautiful green hills, and got the Breakfast of Champions here, a little weird monster bottle, but either way, we're on our way into the hills now to go to the Arashiyama bamboo forest, so let's check it out. Every moment you're in Japan is no time to be losing. If you want to go somewhere that's popular, I suggest you get there early. So we decided to head out to Arashiyama early in the morning around 7 o'clock and head to Tenryuji. This would get one of the bigger places out of the way first, and hopefully there wouldn't be too much tourism there. So I'm currently at Tenryuji, which you'll find if you are wandering your way through the Arashiyama Bamboo Grove. It's an incredibly beautiful place to be. There's a garden, and it's just completely surrounded by greenery. So if you're liking the whole nature scene, this is a great place to go. It's very calm. It costs 500 yen to get in, but it's nice because that kind of gate keeps away from a lot of people that aren't willing to spend the money to be here. Okay then, let me give you a bit of backstory here. Tenryuji is the most important temple in the Arashiyama district. It's actually ranked as the first among the city's 5 great Zen temples. It's also registered as a World Heritage Site. It even has its own sect within Japanese Buddhism, and this happens to be the head temple for them. It was built back in 1339 to a shogun who was actually a bit adversarial with the current emperor, though they were former allies in previous times. Though with him passed on, the shogun decided that he wanted to appease the former emperor's spirits by building this in his name. Over the years, fires are typically a big problem for these types of places, and this one's no different. Many of the inner places within the temple are actually from the Meiji period. They had been rebuilt after fires had claimed them. Though, with some luck, the gardens have actually survived through the years, and these are the original gardens that you'll get to see. They don't allow you to film inside of the building, which is typical, though you can look up online and find some wonderful images of the inside of this place. It's very serene and very calm, and the day that we went wasn't heavily populated. So rather than cheapen this footage with me talking, let's go ahead and just vibe out to these awesome sights and sounds. Big ass one. Water was so clean. They're being like a river. I also met this really cool dog chilling on a bench. His owners were nice too. Watch out for Curious George. Watch out for Curious George. Look, if I had a choice between Tenzeni and coming up here to this beautiful place, I would choose this place over the Tenzeni because Tenzeni is nothing compared to this amazing place. 500 yen to get in is a great admission fee because this is truly worth it. Look at that. And that's going to conclude all of my footage for Arashiyama. I didn't get a ton, but I do have some images here, and I feel like it would just be a crime for me to not share them with you. Arashiyama has a great vibe about it. It's incredibly serene, while also just being very scenic and beautiful, thanks to the nature and the lovely structures around you. The bamboo forest is somewhat creepy in a way, and if you can get there at a time where there's not many people, you'll really love it. There's plenty to do and see here, and while I didn't get to do everything, what I did was enjoyable. What I really wish I knew about was the monkey park. You can actually go and feed monkeys at this place, which is funny because there's signs all around that show you to not feed the monkeys because they can apparently get pretty aggressive, but I guess there's a cage here, so it's all good. Additionally, there is cormorant fishing, which is really awesome. If you've never seen one of these birds, they're actually really good fishermen. They dive underwater, catch fish, and then come up and have the attendants release it and put them back in. It's birds on leashes. It's so crazy. But being as this is such a popular place, it does get pretty bogged down with a lot of visitors, so try to get there early and really enjoy it for all that it's worth. But with another place off of my checklist, I had visited Arashiyama and it was now time to move on. If you recall from the beginning of the video, you'll remember that I said something about how there was a specific temple that was pretty close to the Arashiyama Bamboo Grove, so it was time to go from Arashiyama to Kinkakuji. And that was exactly where we went. Kinkakuji. Kin meaning gold. Ooh, it got bright out here, and it's not just because of this beautiful golden hair, it's because of the golden pavilion. We're at Kinkakuji, and it's so nice. The golden glow. It's like the Golden Globes up in here. It's so nice, it's so pretty, but there's so many people here, so get here early because if not, you're gonna be sweating with the best of them. This place is stunning to see in person because the top 2 floors of this temple are covered in gold leaf. This place gets really crowded, and I know I say that about everywhere, but this one especially so. It's incredibly vibrant and just amazing to see even from a distance, and the different seasons typically allow a wonderful backdrop that make this thing pop even more. But there's some history to be known here, because this Kinkakuji is actually a restoration of the original. It was built as a retirement home for Ashikaga Yoshimitsu, the shogun at the time. But once he passed away, his wishes were to have it donated as a Zen Buddhist temple. And because of that, it is held as an incredibly sacred place. So many people like to come here, not to mention the fact that it is just gorgeous and the nearby area around it is also wonderful to experience. Well, these are just my fishy friends. Unfortunately, as I said with some of the other landmarks, fires over time can become a problem, and this one was a victim of arson. Kinkakuji was set on fire by a jealous priest in 1950. His hatred for beauty led him to destroy the temple and potentially kill himself. He figured it would be a double suicide by him dying as well as the temple, though he failed in at least one thing because he was found nearby with a self-inflicted stab wound to the chest as well as having swallowed sleeping pills. And since he survived, they decided to give him 7 years in prison, though he passed away of tuberculosis before he could get out at the ripe age of 26. Kinkakuji is actually the older brother to Ginkakuji, which is the silver temple, versus Kinkakuji being the gold one. It's a little less extravagant, but it's certainly beautiful in its own right, so they're both worth visiting. I would just say decide which one you like best, or go ahead and visit both if you have the time. And hey, if you can get a coin in that pot, you can get your wish granted. Hey, so it's kitchen time with Kingu. I knew I was forgetting something, and it's omiyage. Of course I had to get souvenirs while I was there, and one of the things that I got was actually this. You may not know what this is, but neither would I have unless on the way out the lady stopped me like she did. This is green tea that actually has bits of gold leaf inside of it. You heard that right. The same gold leaf that is covering Kinkakuji, which of course is here on the packaging, is actually floating inside of, well, it's not floating because it's just in the powder, and it actually becomes part of the tea. It is so over the expiry. This went bad in September of 2020, and it is the middle of August 2021, so I don't know. I think I'm still gonna try it. Oh, it's in a foil bag. I don't know what kind of level of quality it is, but it is matcha, so we're just gonna go ahead and use actual matcha tools, I should say. If my camera would focus, you'll see. You see those little dots of gold right there? That's gold leaf. There's a very little bit in there, but you can see it. Surely there's some in the bowl here, so let's just go ahead and make it. Whoa, look at that. You can actually see it. I actually wasn't expecting that. There's kind of a significant amount in there. Look at, that's a lot. Let's pour our stale matcha into our cup. So in true kingly fashion, I'm about to drink gold. It's very, smells like green tea. If you've ever had green tea, it's kind of earthy. They all sort of smell similar. It's actually really smooth. It's almost like sweet. And I do remember that from the temple. I was like, that's actually really creamy. But matcha can be that way, though this is probably loaded up with something other than gold flakes. But I am drinking gold, so you know it's good for you. And that's going to do it for Kinkakuji. I can absolutely understand why this place is such a popular tourist spot in Kyoto. And because of that, I will say that I absolutely recommend you check it out if you can. It can be a bit hard to get through and traverse and take good footage of, but ultimately I think it is a positive experience coming here. If you like gold or architecture or even just nature, it's got everything. But with that out of the way, there was one last place we were going to venture to for this day, and it was going to really pack it tight, but it was incredible. And I've got to say, this place was not only one of my favorite places in Kyoto, but overall in Japan. So make sure you tune in next time because this is going to get crazy. Thank you so much for watching. The only reason I make these is because I want to share this trip with you, and having you along with me is so fun. So make sure you comment on what you thought the coolest thing was and like the video too. Subscribe for more because I'm always working on stuff like this. And of course, check out the links I have on screen. I can't wait to show you the next leg of this trip. And maybe even a nose or two. So sayonara for now.